The Village of Tinley Park on April 18, 2017. Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Madam Deputy, if you would call the roll, please.
Trustee Maher?
Here.
Trustee Grady?
Here.
Trustee Panito?
Here.
Trustee Vandenberg?
Present.
Trustee Yonker?
Here.
Trustee Suggs? Mayor Seaman?
Here. We have a quorum. Just as an FYI, Trustee Suggs and Clerk Ray are under the care of a physician right now, different physicians, and that's why, once again, they've been unable to attend. First item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2, consider minutes of the special village board meeting held on April 11th, 2017. May I have such a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2A, I've been asked to give Trustee Vandenberg a moment.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Sure.
Mayor Seaman, Clerk Ray, Trustee Maher, Trustee Grady, and Trustee Suggs. On behalf of my colleagues Brian Yonker, Mike Panito, the village staff, and the 57,000 residents of Tinley Park, please allow me to express our utmost gratitude for your years of service that you have provided this great community. Before we continue with tonight's village business, it would be my honor to present to you, Mayor Seaman, a village proclamation. And there's a lot to it, so excuse me for a moment. A proclamation recognizing the extraordinary contributions of the Honorable David G. Seaman, trustee and mayor of Tinley Park, 1984 to 2017. Whereas the Honorable David G. Seaman moved to Tinley Park over 40 years ago with his wife Rosemary, and whereas the Honorable David G. Seaman served his country in the Illinois Air National Guard for 39 years. That included assignments in the Illinois Joint Force Headquarters and the 126th Air Refueling Wing, retiring at the rank of colonel. And whereas David G. Seaman has an undergraduate and graduate degrees from the University of Illinois and is a certified public accountant. And whereas the Honorable David G. Seaman was appointed to the village board on June 8, 1984, to fill a vacancy with a remaining one-year term, and was subsequently elected for 8 consecutive terms following. And whereas, in more recent years, David G. Seaman chaired the Finance and Economic Development Committee, Budget, Audit, and Administration Committee, and the Planning and Zoning Committee, in which his efforts continued to bring new, high-quality businesses to town, and which helped to keep taxes low. And whereas, David G. Seaman served as a trustee liaison for many commissions, including the Economic Commercial, Main Street, Veterans, Crime Prevention, Sister Cities, Civil Service, Senior Services, Historic Preservation, and quite a few more during his 31-year tenure as trustee. And whereas, as trustee, David G. Seaman worked to implement a local sales tax to reduce the reliance on property tax and led the smoke-free initiative in the Tinley Park and was a strong proponent of Illinois smoke-free laws. And whereas, in June 2015, the Honorable David G. Seaman was appointed to serve the 2-year remaining years of Edward Zabrocki's 9th term as mayor. He led efforts to increase economic development by creating a new community brand, lobbied Metro to run express trains to Tinley Park, and approved the village's multi-million-dollar budget, which did not increase the village tax levy. And whereas, David G. Seaman has also served as the Chief Executive Officer for Pringer Smith Medical Care from May 1996 through September 2015, one of the largest medical groups in the Chicago area. And whereas, during his 33 years of selfless public service to Tinley Park, Mayor Seaman and his wife Rosemary raised 3 wonderful children, Anthony, Rachel, and Christopher, and remain active members of St. George Church in Tinley Park. And whereas, David G. Seaman has also remained active in many volunteer efforts, including the American Cancer Society, having participated at the national, division, and regional levels. He is the 2010 recipient of the American Cancer Society St. George National Award in recognition of his contribution to the control of cancer. And whereas David G. Seaman enjoys spending time with his wife, children, and grandchildren, spending time with antique automobiles, bike riding for miles on end. Now therefore be it proclaimed on behalf of the 57,500 citizens of Tinley Park, and that the Village Board of the Village of Tinley Park join his family and friends in congratulating David G. Seaman upon 33 years of selfless, dedicated service to this great village of Tinley Park. This was approved this 18th day of April 2017, signed by myself, Brian H. Yonker, and Michael J. Panito. Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's kind of nice to be around to hear the eulogy, but I guess that's your business. So.
Yeah, well, touche. Drink some water to you on that one, Dave.
Very kind. Thank you very much. Okay.
We have a little bit more business as well.
One more, Dave.
Yes, sir.
One more proclamation. A proclamation recognizing the extraordinary contributions of the Honorable Patrick E. Ray, trustee and clerk of the Village of Tinley Park, 1971 to 2017. Whereas Patrick E. Ray is a 70-year resident of Tinley Park, moving here when the local population was about 2,300. And whereas the Honorable Patrick E. Ray served this country during the Vietnam War and later as an active Army Reserve officer, earning the rank of Brigadier General, now retired. And whereas Patrick E. Ray was educated in the Tinley Park Schools Community School District of 146 and graduated from Central School and Bremen High School. He subsequently attended the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, where he obtained a Bachelor's of Science degree in Economics and Business, which was followed by a Master's Arts degree in Economics, History, and Political Science. He attended the Army War College in Pennsylvania and received a Master of Science degree in Military Police and International Relations. And whereas the Honorable Patrick E. Ray was initially appointed village trustee on October 18, 1971, to fill a vacancy created by the Honorable Frank W. German, Jr., becoming one of the youngest members of the village board in then 79-year history. He subsequently re-elected 10 consecutive terms as trustee and then appointed village clerk in 2009 to fill a vacancy created by village clerk Frank W. German's death. He then was elected village clerk in 2011 and re-elected in 2013. And whereas trustee Patrick E. Ray served as chairman of Public Safety Committee and chairman of the Finance and Economic Development Committee. Through his leadership, the village has maintained a low municipal tax rate, largely as a result of economic development. The village's property tax base increased nearly 31 times, from $42 million in 1971 to over $1.3 billion in 2017. Also during this time, the village has increased its municipal bond rating to the current AA+ with Standard & Poor's rating services, which places Tinley Park in the top few communities in the state of Illinois and the top 5% of all governments in the country. And whereas Patrick E. Ray was instrumental in the construction and expansion of the current Village Hall and the Public Safety Building, Police Department, Public Works Garage, and the Tinley Park Convention Center, and a replacement of the Oak Park Avenue train station. In addition, he was instrumental in acquiring the rights to construct a train station at 80th Avenue, long before the town's growth made this a necessity. He was a driving force in the planning of the replacement of the 80th Avenue train station with an award-winning structure that became the most attractive stop on a former Rock Island and the second most active station in the entire metro system. And whereas Patrick E. Ray was responsible for establishing the former Youth Commission, the Bicentennial, Centennial, and Millennial Commissions, and then present Economic, Commercial, Historic Preservation, Main Street, and Veterans Commissions, and establishing a sister cities relationship with Budigen, Germany, and the village of Tinley Park. And now, therefore, it be proclaimed on behalf of the 57,500 citizens of Tinley Park that the village board joins his family and friends in congratulating Patrick E. Ray upon 46 years of selfless dedication services to the great village of Tinley Park, approved this 18th day, April 2017. Myself, Trustee Vandenberg, and Michael J. Panito.
On behalf of Clerk Ray, I know this will mean a lot to him. He, certainly wishes that he were here tonight, but he is under doctor's orders, unfortunately. So, but thank you again. It's most appreciated. All right. Now, item number 3, approval of consent agenda. May I have such a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Madam Clerk, if you would please do the honors.
Consider request from Tinley Park Sertoma Club to conduct a fundraiser on Friday, September 8th and Saturday, September 9th, 2017 at certain intersections in the Village of Tinley Park. Consider request from the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police to conduct a raffle through August 14th, 2017, with the winners being drawn on August 15th and 16th, 2017 at the Tinley Park Convention Center. Consider request for a block party permit for Saturday, August 5th, 2017 on 176th Place between 6841 and 6933 from 11:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. Consider proclaiming May Motorcycle Awareness Month in the Village of Tinley Park. And payment of outstanding bills in the amount of $2,304,225.88 as listed on the vendor board approval reports dated April 7th and April 13th, 2017.
Anybody have any items they want removed from the consent agenda? Seeing as there are none, Madam Deputy, please call the roll.
Trustee Maher?
Yay.
Trustee Grady?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg?
Yes.
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Motion carries. Item number 4, get an opportunity to recognize our Bulldog wrestling team here this evening. And we have 24 of the, I believe, some 48 or about half, okay, of the group here this evening with us. And so, Coach, I'd like you to start by introducing yourself and the achievements that the group did.
Guys, you can come down this way. We don't bite.
My name is Mickey Griffin. I'm the head wrestling coach for the Tinley Park Bulldogs. We first want to start off by thanking Mayor Seaman, the rest of the trustees and elected officials here tonight for recognizing our senior varsity wrestling team on the outstanding season that they had. We really appreciate that, Mayor. The Bulldogs, we pride ourselves in having an excellent organization as far as achievement, but we're also proud of the 56 years that we've been in existence, being part of the community for that long. When we have the support of our elected officials like this, it just means the world. So thank you, Mayor Seaman, for having us here tonight. Like I said, we're here to celebrate and recognize a outstanding season that our wrestling team had. We were the runner-up at the IKWF Senior State Duels. This is the second year in a row that we achieved that accomplishment. We took second place at the 3 elite tournaments in the state of Illinois. Those are the top tournaments in the state, all 3 of them. We were the number 2 team at each one of those tournaments. When it came down to the postseason, the Bulldogs were the champions of the Central Chicago Regional and Sectional tournaments. Those are the first 2 tournaments in the state series that qualify you for the IKWF state tournament. By being champions of the Central Chicago Sectional, we were able to hold the Central Chicago banner during the opening ceremonies of the state tournament. At the state tournament, where there are 167 teams represented, the Tinley Park Bulldogs came in second place. We had 22 wrestlers qualify for the tournament. 15 of those wrestlers earned state medals, and we actually had 3 state champions this year. As I mentioned, the Tinley Park Bulldog Wrestling has been around for 56 years. We've had some fantastic teams. I actually talked to a couple former Bulldogs as they were walking in here tonight, which was really cool to do. And in that history, we've had 3 state championship teams. Even though we took second place, our point total in the senior division was the highest point total that any Tinley Park Bulldog wrestling team has ever achieved. So it was a really special weekend, a special state tournament, a special team. As the mayor mentioned, we have 24 of our wrestlers here tonight. I'm going to go ahead and announce them so that they can receive a certificate from the mayor himself. Casey Griffin, varsity dual team member.
Okay, Casey.
What's up,
Oh, there he
Casey?
is. These aren't alphabetical.
They're an alphabet, okay.
See, we should have somebody who can't get started with a J or a B.
Yeah.
Somebody want to jump in there?
Distribute them as they open.
Okay,
Yeah.
this has got to be you. Casey Griffin, all right. Great job. Oh, that's okay.
Trevor Griffin, varsity team member, state qualifier. Connor Gaynor, IKWF state champion. Gaynor, Gaynor.
I don't think I've got that one in the stack. I've got a lot of others. Wait, let me double check. Here it is.
It's the really big one.
Okay, great.
Jake Goodman, varsity dual team member.
There you go.
Nick Hansen, varsity dual team member. Elliot Lewis, IKWF state placer.
We get to this. There we go.
All right.
Nick Lopez, IKWF state placer. Tyler Milani, IKWF state placer.
Congratulations, great job.
Kevin Martin, state placer. Caden Musselman, varsity dual team member. Max Siegel, IKWF state qualifier.
There we go, Max.
Pay me by the minute.
Good job.
Max.
Thank you.
Trevor Silzer, state placer. Jake Tanquillet, state placer. Mario Torme, state placer.
There we go. Congratulations.
And going back, Josh Tanquillet, varsity dual team member.
Congratulations.
And going to the R's, Mr. Mayor, apologize, Joey Rhodey, state qualifier. Going to go to the front of the alphabet at this time.
I knew this job was tough.
We're good on the mat, not the greatest with alphabetical, but we'll get there. Ryan Boersma, state champion.
There we go, Ryan. Congratulations.
Yeah, Ryan.
Josh Banks, varsity dual team member.
Congratulations, great job.
Zach Bateman, varsity dual team member. Joseph Castaneda, varsity team member. And going back to the Bs, and I apologize again, Ethan Bednarzik, varsity dual team member. Henry Coglin, state qualifier.
Yeah, congratulations.
Owen Dunlap, IKWF state champion. Noah Cozzolino, varsity team member. And Nick Hansen, varsity dual team member. Oh, we already got that one. Sorry, Mayor Seaman. Once again, thank you, everybody, and thank you, Mayor Seaman, for having us. We appreciate it.
Stand up there or come down here so if you get
Some pictures, that'd be great.
for whatever.
Oh, no problem.
Gang.
You need a panoramic camera.
Make sure your coach team with you as well. Yeah, if the coaches are here, please come up.
When you run for office, you'll have all these pictures with all these kids. It'll be great.
Good to see you. Thanks a
Okay, we got it, guys? Thank you. And thanks to all the moms and dads, and they did all the schlepping and did all the work that goes behind us, I know. Come on, knock that off. A lot of effort that you all put into it, so thank you all so very much. Thank you. No, my pleasure. Thank you. Congratulations. Great job.
Nice job, Mick.
Very good.
Huh?
That's the
Hardly.
fun part of the job.
Yeah. Out of the business.
That's the fun part. Okay, item number 5, Trustee Panito.
Item number 5, consider the appointment of Ken Bauer to the position of building official. Discussion.
Yeah, just if you'd make the motion and then.
Make a motion to consider the appointment of Ken Bauer to the position of building official.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Trustee Panito.
With the retirement of the village's previous building commissioner and recruiting of building and planning and economic development departments into a community development department, a position was created for building official. The village undertook a national search for a building official and received 137 applications. Interviews were conducted with 5 candidates. Upon completion of the interviews, it was recommended that Ken Bauer be appointed to the building official position. Mr. Bauer has worked with Safe Built Consultants as a building official and the villages of Hinsdale, Oak Brook, and Sugar Grove as a plan reviewer, supervisor, and inspector.
Okay, was Ken able to join us this evening?
Not yet.
Oh, okay, still in transit. Okay, very good. Any other questions from the board about this appointment?
When is his beginning day?
May 8th.
If not, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations to Ken Bauer. Item number 6, Trustee Yonker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like the board to consider authorizing the execution of a settlement and release agreement in the matter of Buckeye Community Hope Foundation versus Tinley Park, number 16-CV-04430.
Do we have a second?
So moved.
In April 2016, the Buckeye Community Hope Foundation filed a lawsuit against the village and certain village trustees stating that the defendants violated federal and state law by allegedly denying Buckeye the right to construct a 47-unit affordable housing development named The Reserve. The defendants deny that they violated the law and further allege that the village only was requiring Buckeye to build its development with first-floor commercial units. In order to settle the lawsuit and avoid further litigation costs, both sides reached an agreement whereby Buckeye agrees it will no longer seek to build its proposed development and will dismiss its lawsuit. In return, the village will pay Buckeye $75,392 from the village's general fund, with an additional $684,608 being paid from a legal settlement fund held on behalf of the village by the Intergovernmental Risk Management Association, otherwise known as IRMA, the village's insurer. IRMA will make an additional payment to Buckeye out of IRMA's own fund in the amount of $1,690,000 for a total settlement of $2.45 million. Also like to add to that, Buckeye demanded that it be allowed to build the reserve as proposed without the first floor commercial units. If we went to trial and won, the end result would be that Buckeye cannot build the proposed development. The cost of defending this case through trial and potential appeal would be well in excess of $1 million. By settling, we paid several $100,000 less than the cost of defending the case through trial. We received the same result and without the risk that comes with any trial. The village still has additional litigation related to this case with the Department of Justice, Amy Conley, and also Amy Conley, so we're limited to what we can say about this settlement.
Counsel, is there any other comment?
Yeah, just briefly, I just want to emphasize that although this is one, this lawsuit is separate from what Trustee Yonker mentioned. The Department of, I'll give everybody an update. The Department of Justice case, the village's motion to dismiss is still pending. Ms. Connolly has. There's an investigation being conducted by HUD. The village is currently reviewing all of its options in response to Ms. Connolly's allegations there. So I do want to echo that. I'm sure there will be comments tonight. Everybody keep in mind that those cases are pending, and the board is somewhat limited in what they can say. So with that, that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. This item will be a roll call item, and if there are any questions or comments, this would be the time for the public to ask.
Councilor Connolly, I'm going to direct everything to you. Councilor Connolly, do you know what we pay IRMA now as a monthly, I don't know, premium, if you will?
I do not.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't.
All right. No, it's a FOIA way. Following up on that, and this is just an in general question, in the wake of settling, how long would it take them, do you think, and of course, if you don't know, you don't know, but they would increase said premium?
Well, I don't know.
Okay. Is there anything precluding the loss out in your legal opinion, Counselor, for the sheriff's now long delayed investigation to continue once the pending lawsuit from DOJ and all of Amy Connolly's things against us are then done?
Is there anything in what?
Is there anything in the 5-page settlement that Trustee-elect Glotz was kind enough to post, and I was able to read it right before this meeting? Is there anything in there precluding the sheriff's investigation from proceeding at some point in the future once the Department of Justice lawsuit is dealt with and whatever Amy Connolly has against us is dealt with?
There's nothing in the settlement agreement that would preclude that.
So it could, in theory. Okay.
Yes, correct. Nothing in the settlement agreement.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely nothing.
All right. I would like it posted in the minutes explicitly that Michael Paws opposes settling for the $2.45 million amount. Thank you.
Any other comment or questions? Madam Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Maher?
Yay.
Trustee Grady?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg?
Yes.
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Motion carries. Item number 7, Trustee Vandenberg.
Thank you, Mayor Seaman. This time I move to consider adopting ordinance number 2017-0-015, granting a variation from the maximum number of signs to allow for a second sign on an interior lot in the B3 General Business and Commercial Zoning District for Aurelio's Pizza.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Brian. I read this in full, previous meeting. Aurelio's is replacing a sign on the north portion of their building. The sign face will actually be a little smaller than what is currently there. This was before the Zoning Board of Appeals on March 23rd, 2017, and voted unanimously in favor of recommending this approval this evening.
This item is up for adoption. Anybody on the board have any questions?
Which picture is it?
I don't know.
There's a couple on there.
Go back when it's there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's then faces north by the carryout.
Any other questions from the board? Anybody from the public have any comment? Let the record reflect there were none. Madam Clerk, Deputy.
Trustee Maher?
Yay.
Trustee Grady?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg?
Yes.
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Motion carries. Item number 8, Trustee Vandenberg.
Thank you. At this time, I'll move to consider adopting ordinance number 2017-0-020, correcting Scrivener's errors in the legal descriptions for the entire zoning district of the Legacy Code of the Village of Tinley Park.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Again, I did read this in full at the previous meeting, but this is for consider recommending the village board to approve the map amendments for rezonings of the various properties within the Legacy District and for any type of legal descriptions of the Scrivener's errors.
This item is up for adoption. Anybody from the board have any questions? Anybody from the public have any questions? Let the record reflect there were none. Madam Deputy.
Trustee Maher?
Yay.
Trustee Grady?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg?
Yes.
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Motion carries. Item number 9, Trustee Vandenberg.
Thank you. This time I'll move to consider adopting ordinance number 2017-0-021, approving certain text amendments pertaining to updating and correcting various figures, charts, and labels contained in the Legacy Code of Tinley Park zoning ordinance.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Again, this is to recommend the village board to approve these text amendments. These are different charts and Scrivener's errors and legal descriptions within the district, the correct labels, and like I said, on figures and certain pages within the Legacy District as well.
This item is up for adoption. Anybody on the board have any questions? Anybody from the public have any questions? Let the record reflect there were none. Madam Deputy.
Trustee Maher?
Yay.
Trustee Grady?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg?
Yes.
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Motion carries. Item number 10, Trustee Vandenberg.
Thank you. At this time, I move to consider adopting ordinance number 2017-0-022, approving certain text amendments to the Legacy Code of Tinley Park zoning ordinance pertaining to the requirement of street-level commercial.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Before I continue, I'd just like to point out, I haven't mentioned this, the items 8 through 12 were all before Planning Commission meeting. I mentioned this at the last meeting, but I think it's important to mention now as well. The Planning Commission did recommend all of these to the board on March 2nd, 2017. So as I continue, for the recommendation to this board to approve these text amendments related to the street-level commercial, including, but are not limited to, adding definitions for street-level commercial, accessory residential uses, a commercial, residential, street level, residential lobby, adding a required depth for street level commercial spaces, and adding accessory residential uses on the street level to the list of special uses, and reformatting the general standard table for each district to read more clearly. That's all I have on that.
Anybody from the board have any questions about this item? Anybody from the public care to comment or question? Yes, sir, please.
Mr. Mayor, just a quick question here. I see 7 definitions are being added here, or at least being clarified. Can somebody confirm whether the terms commercial required or commercial preferred are being addressed in any of these changes?
Yeah, I can. I guess globally, what these definitions do, in various spots throughout that legacy code, as you see, street level commercial, things like that, they correspond with charts within that legacy code. So it'll say commercial, street level commercial required, and Paul probably knows the coloring more, but then there'll be red dots along the line. Paul, do you have the boundaries on where, maybe it's easier just to say this, what we're doing here with all the map amendments and these definitions, conclusively, by defining what commercial is and things like that, there are certain boundaries where it should be unequivocally clear that
That's where the
street
red
level
dots
commercial
are.
is
See on that
required.
legend? Street level commercial required.
So these are the only definitions that are being modified or changed or added? No other definitions are being changed in this motion?
These are all additions, right?
There's a couple there. The street, we have a definition now what street level commercial means, what accessory residential uses
Right.
means. what
There's
commercial-
7 items there. Those are the only 7 items. There are no other terms where definitions are being modified, changed, or added other than these 7 terms, correct?
Those are the only place that we added definitions.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Let the record reflect there were none. Madam Deputy?
Mr. Mayor, just one quick point.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Ed Matuszek, I'm actually Chair of the Planning Commission. I wanted, again, to thank our staff for the hard work they've put in this. I mean, the board's passed this very quickly, but at the Planning Commission, we spent a great deal of time. And again, to answer your question, these definitions were done so nobody has, hopefully, any wiggle room to get around commercial required. It was our stated purpose and intent that we have commercial required at first level. And the reason those definitions have been passed is to reassure you is that we wanted to make sure there's no wiggle room for people to interpret around that. So if that answers your question, and again, I want to thank our staff for the hard work they've put in on this. We put a lot of time, and staff especially. So don't think because this went this quickly that it took that short amount of time to get where we got. We took a lot of time, and thanks again to Paula for doing it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Matuszek. It was and please give our thanks to the Plan Commission as well for all the time and effort that they spent on doing this, because these are not easy tasks, and this was one of those high-profile efforts that took a lot of work and concentration and effort. So please share the thanks to them as well. Thank you. At this point, Madam Deputy?
Trustee Maher?
Yay.
Trustee Grady?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg?
Yes.
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Motion carries. Item number 11, Trustee Vandenberg.
Thank you. At this time, we'll move to consider adopting ordinance number 2017-0-023, approving certain text amendments to the section of the Legacy Code of the Tinley Park zoning ordinance pertaining to special and prohibited uses in the Legacy District.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. And we'll discuss this a little bit more in depth. Again, for consideration this evening for the Village Board, the Plan Commission vetted this properly and thoroughly for text amendments related to permitted, special, and prohibited land uses, and include but are not limited to adding cigar lounge to the list of special uses, and adding medical marijuana dispensing facility hookah lounges, and retail sales of tobacco, hookah, cigar, e-cigarette, and vapor products as their primary use to the list of prohibited uses. I will mention the Plan Commission unanimously recommended approving of adding the cigar lounge to the list of special uses, and medical marijuana dispensing facility, retail sales, et cetera, as primary use to the list of prohibited uses. However, there was a vote to add hookah lounges to the list of prohibited uses, which was 7 in favor and 2 in opposition, with the final motion carrying for the recommendation this evening, again on March 2nd, 2017.
Anybody from the board have any questions?
What was the reasoning behind that? 7-2, or did it?
I believe there was 2 commissioners that believed the hookah lounges should be considered a special use within the Legacy District, whereas the other ones did not.
That's correct.
Council, any other comments?
Nope, I think that accurately describes it.
All right, any other questions from the board? Anybody from the public care to comment? Let the record reflect there were none. Madam Deputy?
Trustee Maher?
Yay.
Trustee Grady?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg?
Yes.
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Motion carries. Item number 12, Trustee Vandenberg.
And then the last of the Legacy Code ordinances this evening. At this time, I'll move to consider adopting ordinance number 2017-0-024, approving certain text amendments to the Legacy Code of Tinley Park zoning ordinance pertaining to landscape and buffer yards in Legacy District.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Again, these recommendations this evening are for a 5-foot wide buffer yard in certain circumstances. Plan Commission vetted this as well on March 2nd, 2017, and was brought forward for approval this evening.
Anybody from the board have any questions on this item?
I'm sure it's spelled out what those circumstances would be. I'd hate for somebody not to
It's
be
part
sure
of the
what
charting
they're-
as well, right?
Yeah, I can't read it, it's so small. Okay, very good.
Before we continue any further in any more business, I'd like to echo Chairman Matuszyk's comments I made a mention last time around. There's numerous people that had their hand in vetting all of the pieces of legislation here, and it's really a great honor and humbling to kind of work with with everybody involved in this. And I'd like to do a special shout out as well to the Citizens Advisory Committee. They did a fair shake in vetting a lot of this stuff as well as certainly all the time and effort that the Plan Commissioners put forth. I think there's Ken Shaw's here, and obviously Ed. I don't know if I see anybody else, but congratulations to you guys. You guys did a fabulous job. This is the kind of work that we like to see come out of commission, so congratulations to you.
Appreciate that. Anybody from the public care to comment on this agenda item?
One of the things I don't think I really pressed on was one of the things I really enjoyed out of this came out from the board as a directive. And that's how these things should go forward. You should not have people initiating legislation from employees. This was initiated May 17th, 2016 from the board. The directive went to the Planning Commission and the Planning Department. The accountability should always go back to the board. Anything that changes the code should initiate with someone on the board or the board as a whole. When these were changed the first time, that was not the case. So I am hoping going forward that any time there's any change with an ordinance involved, there is a name that is next to it that directed someone to do it. And I hope, because this was a good example of a very thoroughly vetted process, and I would say the Plan Commission did an excellent job. I know I've mentioned that in the past. Paula, Stephanie, you guys did an excellent job. I really enjoyed the discussion, but the beauty of it was that it was done the right way, because I don't want the employees changing the code. I want people that are accountable to us, people that we elect, to be making those directives, not from people that work at the village. I understand the people of the village, for the most part, live here too, thanks to the residency requirement. That's something we're going to work on in the future, but I want people that we, at the ballot box, had our say to have that accountability. It starts with them. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Let the record reflect there were none. Madam Deputy?
Trustee Maher?
Yay.
Trustee Grady?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg?
Yes.
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Motion carries. Item number 13, Trustee Vandenberg.
Thank you.
Almost there.
Almost, yeah. This time I'll move to consider adopting ordinance number 2017-0-029, annexing the property at 16441 Beverly Avenue.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Thank you. This annexation of property was not required to be approved by the Plan Commission due to the fact that the property is being annexed as R1. This residence is in the Kimberly Heights subdivision, and they put the extension of water service to the property, and with natural progression of water lines that were previously installed by the village, the property owner has been paying their portion of the recapture connection cost. There was a notice for proposed annexation that was sent to Bremen Township and the Acorn Library District, and this will be for final adoption this evening.
Anybody from the board have any questions?
Also going to send that annexation to the Park District too.
Anybody from the public have any questions or comment? Let the record reflect there were none. Madam Deputy, please call the roll.
Trustee Maher?
Yay.
Trustee Grady?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg?
Yes.
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Motion carries. Item number 14, Trustee Vandenberg.
I'm asking to waive first reading on this item this evening.
Does the second concur?
Second.
Yes.
Thanks,
Okay.
Brian. At this time, I'd move to consider resolution number 2017-R-021, approving a plat of easement granting public access at the rear of the property, the Painted Turtle.
It's been moved and seconded.
Thank you.
Carry on.
The petitioner, Community Service Foundation, a local nonprofit, recently purchased this property at 17459 Oak Park Avenue that was formerly occupied by the Garden Gallery. The CSS and CTF now operates the Painted Turtle in this location as an art studio for the individuals with disabilities. When a non-residential property changes ownership, certain village requirements are triggered. The property is located in the downtown core of the Legacy District and is subject to the requirements requiring the provision of an alley at the rear of the property. Until such time that the remainder of the block can provide a full improvement of that alley system, it has been recommended to require a plat of easement instead of dedication. Therefore, the applicant has provided the plat of easement granting public ingress, egress, access at the rear of this property. This was reviewed thoroughly by the village attorney as well as the village engineer and was recommended to this board this evening.
Anybody from the board have any
It's
questions?
not going to shift any cost to the village, any expenses? No.
No, it should not.
Any other questions from the board? Anybody from the public care to comment? This is up for adoption. Let the record reflect there were none. Madam Deputy?
Trustee Maher?
Yay.
Trustee Grady?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg?
Yes.
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Motion carries. Item number 15, Trustee Maher.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This time I'd ask the board to consider for adoption ordinance number 2017-0-026, an ordinance amending Title 11, Chapter 129B of the Tinley Park Municipal Code, Main Street Development Trust Fund.
May we have a second?
Second.
Thanks.
This ordinance provides for some necessary cleanup of the Tinley Park Municipal Code in connection with the fiscal year 2018 budget. In 1997, the village created the Main Street Business District and authorized the creation of a Main Street Development Trust Fund, accumulating certain incremental property and sales tax revenues generated from within the Main Street Business District to create a special reserve fund. The interest earnings from this fund were designated to support programs approved for the district. Following the recent Great Recession, interest rates have dropped to almost zero, and the corpus of this fund no longer produces sufficient earnings to support Main Street programming. As part of the fiscal year 2018 budget, the village board has earmarked this fund toward the construction of a new downtown plaza as identified in the branding action plan adopted under Resolution 2017-R-016. The proposed plaza also meets the programming criteria of the Main Street Business District. As the fund and its uses were memorialized in the Tinley Park Municipal Code, the determination of the fund requires that the municipal code be updated.
This item is up for adoption. Anybody on the board have any questions? Anybody from the public care to question or comment? Let the record reflect there were none. Madam Deputy?
Trustee Maher?
Yay.
Trustee Grady?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg?
Yes.
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Motion carries. Item number 16, Trustee Maher.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This time I'd ask the board to consider for adoption ordinance number 2017-0-027, an ordinance amending Title 11, Chapter 127 of the Tinley Park Municipal Code, surcharge for emergency 911 telephone system.
May we have a second?
So moved.
Thanks.
Thank
This is an ordinance to address cleanup of the Tinley Park Municipal Code to reflect changes as a result of new state legislation. Following a 1992 referendum, the village enacted monthly 911 enhanced surcharge applicable to phone lines and service in the community to support enhanced 911 dispatch services. In 2015, the General Assembly approved Public Act 99-0006 that consolidated and unified the E911 surcharge rates for wired, wireless, and voice-over internet protocol throughout the state. The act also designated the Illinois State Police to administer the E911 surcharge, including the collection and distribution of the surcharge funds to each local public safety answering point. These changes became effective January 1st, 2016, and nullify certain provisions included in the Tinley Park Municipal Code regarding the rate and administering and the collection of the E911 surcharge monies, coincident with the 2016 effective date of the E911 surcharge provisions of Public Act 99-0006. This ordinance provides the necessary cleanup to the Tinley Park Municipal Code to reflect the changes created by the act.
This item is up for adoption. Anybody on the board have any questions about it? Anybody from the public have any questions or comment? Let the record reflect there were none. Madam Deputy?
Trustee Maher?
Yay.
Trustee Grady?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg?
Yes.
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Motion carries. Item number 17, Trustee Maher.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This time I'd ask the board to consider for adoption ordinance number 2017-0-028, ceding the aggregate remaining unused allocation of 2017 private activity bond volume cap of the Village of Tinley Park to the Illinois Finance Authority and the Will Kankakee Regional Development Authority.
Do we have a second?
So moved.
Thank you. Tinley Park receives a direct allocation of private activity bond volume cap every year based on population. The 2017 allocation is $5,714,300. By May 1st of each year, the village must obligate the allocation to eligible local projects or cede the allocation for use by other agencies. Since January, no local projects have requested industrial revenue bond financing through this program. In order to support projects that will create jobs and expand the tax base in the region, this ordinance will cede $2,850,150 to the Will Kankakee Regional Development Authority and $2,857,150 to the Illinois Finance Authority for the South Suburban Mayors and Managers Volume Cap Pool.
This item is up for adoption. Anybody from the board have any questions? Anybody from the public have any questions or comment? Let the record reflect there were none. Madam Deputy?
Trustee Maher?
Yay.
Trustee Grady?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg?
Yes.
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Motion carries. Item number 18, Trustee Maher.
Thank you. I'd ask the board to consider waiving first reading and considering ordinance number 2017-0-03 for adoption, an ordinance authorizing the transfer of real estate in the Tinley Down Estates subdivision, 7933 Doneen Avenue.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thanks. This ordinance authorizes the transfer of a parcel of land back to the developer in accordance with the pre-annexation agreement for the Tinley Down Estates subdivision. When the first phase of the Tinley Downs subdivision, generally the southeast corner of 171st and 80th Avenue, was developed in 1987, the developer, Mike Murphy / Mallow Construction, was required to construct a temporary detention pond on Lot 19 and deed that lot to the village. This temporary pond was to remain in service until such time as a larger central stormwater detention pond, known as G1, was to be constructed. The temporary detention pond and its future return to the developer were memorialized in the pre-annexation agreement adopted under Resolution 87-R-012, approved April 28, 1987. With the recent development of the Bickford of Tinley Park Senior Living Facility at 17301 80th Avenue, the Bickford developers were required to construct the G1 Central Stormwater Detention Pond. The Central Stormwater Detention Pond has been completed and accepted by the village, which now makes this temporary detention pond lot eligible to be returned to the developer in accordance with the pre-annexation agreement. The developer will be required to construct an extension of the stormwater sewer line to connect the current pond inlet with the outlet before a home can be constructed on that lot. The transfer of the real estate has been significantly delayed pending receipt of finalizing documentation from Bickford and its contractors regarding the construction of the G1 pond. It is requested that first reading be waived to expedite the return of the lot to the developer as required.
This item will be up for adoption. Anybody from the board have any questions about this? Anybody from the public have any questions or comment? Let the record reflect there were none. Madam Deputy?
Trustee Maher?
Yay.
Trustee Grady?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg?
Yes.
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Motion carries. Item number 19, Trustee Yonker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like the board to consider adopting resolution number 2017-R-018, approving an intergovernmental agreement with Cook County for the 175th Street roadway improvements.
Do we have a second?
So moved.
Earlier this year, the village approved the engineering agreement related to the needed roadway improvements along 175th Street, Oak Park Avenue, and Ridgeland Avenue to Oak Forest Avenue. The proposed agreement with Cook County allows reimbursement for the engineering costs for the project to the village. The Village of Tinley Park is fronting the engineering with 100% reimbursement from Cook County. This item was discussed February 14, 2017, Public Works Committee meeting and recommended for approval.
This item is up for adoption. And by the way, this is a huge multi-million-dollar project, once again, that will be done at the cost of Cook County and not the village. This will greatly enhance the roadway in front of St. George and that area east of Oak Park Avenue to Ridgeland and Ridgeland to Oak Forest Avenue, and actually Oak Forest Avenue all the way to 167th Street. It is a huge project. And Jennifer, is that about a $6 million?
Closer to 8.
Closer to 8. Okay. It's real money, guys. So that's a good thing, and that's a big win on the part of the village in terms of being able to get the county to be able to enter into this intergovernmental agreement. So I thank all the engineering and village people that worked to make this happen, and with and the cooperation of the Cook County Board as well, because they're the ones that will be signing the check.
It's 2018 start date, isn't it, or 19?
Not budgeted yet in counties.
Yeah, he's gonna get on. This is just the first step, right?
Yeah, until the engineering is done and approved. So it's moving forward at a snail's pace, but still forward.
It's first step. First step.
Keep pushing our commissioner.
Yep. Anybody from the board have any questions on this item? Anybody from the public here to comment or question? Let the record reflect there were none. Madam Deputy?
Trustee Maher?
Yay.
Trustee Grady?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg?
Yes.
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Motion carries. Item number 20, Trustee Yonker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like the board to consider adopting resolution number 2017-R-020, authorizing the village manager to contract for the purchase of electricity.
Do we have a second?
So moved.
Thank you.
During 2012, the Village of Tinley Park completed the necessary requirements to implement a municipal aggregation program for electrical service. Since that time, the village has entered into 2 subsequent agreements with third-party providers. The current 3-year agreement will expire this summer. As such, the village will be participating in a competitive bidding process during the month of April to select the service provider for a 1, 2, or 3-year term at the village's option. With our previous electrical aggregation competitive bidding events, the window of opportunity for the village to take advantage of the lowest bidder is typically limited to less than 48 hours. By this resolution, the village authorizes the village manager to sign a third-party electrical agreement upon completion of the competitive bid process. The resolution will aid in assuring that the village will continue to be afforded the best possible electrical rates. Once a selection is made, residents do have the option to opt out of the aggregation program and select their own electrical service provider. ComEd remains the distributor regardless of the electrical provider. This resolution is eligible for adoption.
Anybody from the board have any questions about this item? Anybody from the public have any questions or comment? Let the record reflect there were none. Madam Deputy?
Trustee Maher?
Yay.
Trustee Grady?
Yay.
Trustee Panito?
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg?
Yes.
Trustee Yonker?
Yay.
Motion carries. Item number 21, Trustee Yonker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like the board to consider awarding a contract to Ridge Landscape for the portion of the village's 2017 landscape maintenance program.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Earlier this year, the village issued a bid request for landscape maintenance services. The scope of work for the proposed contract includes the following: plant maintenance, pruning and shaping of trees and shrubs, lawn care mowing, string trimming and edging at 207 acres, flower bed maintenance, weeding, mulching, and general care. An effort to secure the best possible pricing, the village divided the village into 4 quadrants of areas and contractor supplied pricing for each area. Bids were open and they are listed below. Ridge Landscaping provided the village with the lowest pricing for areas 1 through 3. Ridge Landscaping has provided service to the village in the past and the work has been deemed acceptable quality. This item was discussed at the Public Works Committee meeting held prior to this village meeting. And just for the record too, that the contract have legal change it to where it ends in November of 2017.
Will do.
Okay, this item is for adoption with the bids. Deputy Clerk's Office, please make sure that they're reflected in the record.
We will.
Anybody from the board have any questions about this? Anybody from the public have any questions about this? Let the record reflect there were none. Madam Deputy.
Trustee Maher.
Yay.
Trustee Grady.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg.
Yay.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Motion carries. Item number 22, Trustee Yonker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like the board to consider awarding a contract to Berry Landscape for a portion of the village 2017 landscape maintenance program.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Similar to the previous item, it's Berry Landscape was provided the village the lowest pricing for Area 4. Berry Landscaping has provided the village in the past, and their work has been deemed to be acceptable quality. This item was discussed at Public Works meeting held prior to the village board meeting, and also let the record show that the contract is set to go through November 2017.
This item is for expenditure of funds. Anybody from the board have any questions? Once again, with the clerk's office, please assure that this is included in the minutes.
We will.
Anybody from the public have any questions or comments? Seeing as none, Madam Deputy.
Trustee Maher.
Yay.
Trustee Grady.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg.
Yes.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Motion carries. Item number 23, Trustee Yonker.
I'd like the board to consider awarding a contract to True Green for the village's 2017 lawn care program.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Earlier this year, the village issued bid requests for lawn care services. The scope of work for the proposed contract includes the coordination and delivery of lawn care treatments, fertilizer, and pesticides in the village's planting beds, 37 acres, and lawn areas, 207 acres. Bids were open and read publicly, and they're listed below. True Green has provided the village with the lowest pricing for the services to be provided. True Green has provided service to the village in the past, and according to staff, their work has been deemed acceptable quality. This item was discussed at the Public Works Committee meeting held prior to the village board meeting, and also on this, just to let the record show, the contract is to expire November 2017.
This is for expenditure of funds. Anybody on the board have any questions about it? Once again, please make sure that the other bids are reflected in the record.
We will.
Anybody from the public have any questions or comment? Let the record reflect there were none. Madam Deputy.
Trustee Maher.
Yay.
Trustee Grady.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg.
Yes.
Trustee Yonker.
No.
Motion carries. Item number 24. Trustee Suggs is absent, so Brian Maher will pick that up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This time I'd ask the board to consider for adoption ordinance number 2017-0-025, adopting the annual budget for the fiscal year ending April 30, 2018 for the village of Tinley Park, Cook and Will Counties, Illinois.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. On March 14th and 16th of 2017, the Committee of the Whole met and recommended approval of the budget for the fiscal year ending April 30th of 2018. The total general fund expenditure budget is proposed at $52,389,819, and the total expenditure budget for all of village funds, including the Tinley Park Public Library, but excluding the police pension fund, is $165,171,574. According to state statutes, a public hearing was held on April 11th, 2017. A copy of the proposed budget has been available for public inspection at the village clerk's office and on the open government page of the village website since April 4th of 2017.
This item is up for adoption. Anybody from the board have any questions or comment? Anybody from the public have any questions or comment? Let the record reflect there were none. Madam Deputy.
Trustee Maher.
Yay.
Trustee Grady.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg.
Yes.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Motion carries. Item number 25, Trustee Maher.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This time I'd ask the board to consider for adoption resolution number 2017-R-019, authorizing transfers from the general fund, water and sewer operations and maintenance fund, and commuter parking lot operations and maintenance fund.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Thanks. This resolution implements a series of year-end transfers following established fiscal practices and as discussed at the Committee of the Whole meetings, which were held on March 14 and 16 of 2017. These transfers are made from the excess of revenues over expenses expected to be generated for fiscal year ended April 30, 2017, or from the fund balance of the fund initiating the transfer. Transfers are made to capital reserve and debt service reserve funds to support the current and long-term needs of the village for replacement of infrastructure, equipment, and debt service. The resolution establishes not to exceed amounts for the contemplated transfers of $7.5 million from the general fund, $1 million from the water and sewer fund, and $500,000 from the commuter parking lot fund.
This item is up for adoption. Anybody from the board have any questions? Anybody from the public have any questions or comment? Let the record reflect there were none. Madam Deputy?
Trustee Maher.
Yay.
Trustee Grady.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg.
Yes.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Motion carries. Item number 26, Trustee Maher.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This time I'd ask the board to consider authorizing the village manager and treasurer to sign an engagement letter for professional services in connection with conducting the annual financial audit of the village for the fiscal year ended April 30, 2017 with the firm of Sikich LLP.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Thanks. At the May 10, 2016 Committee of the Whole, it was recommended that staff solicit a request for proposal for auditing services for a multi-year period following the conclusion of the fiscal year 2016 audit. Following the completion of the 2016 audit in February of 2017, the village solicited a request for proposals for professional services associated with external auditing services, preparation of the village's annual comprehensive annual financial report, and related reporting requirements, single audit report and TIF reports as required. The village received 7 responses to the RFP, which included proposed fees for the various audit components for fiscal years 2017 through 2021. Because of the learning curve factors associated with a firm familiarizing themselves with the village's operations and financial records, it is not recommended to change auditing firms too frequently, which was a consideration in requesting the multi-year fee proposals. All of the respondents have a solid background in governmental audit and related reporting. After review of the proposals and conference call interview, it is recommended that Sikich LLP be selected to perform the professional audit services for the fiscal years ending April 30, 2017 through 2021. In reviewing the proposal, staff considered the added value that Sikich LLP can bring to the engagement, which includes but is not limited to the following: decades of industry expertise and experience in the area of governmental accounting, depth of staff and resources that are available to assist village in matters related to the annual audit services, as well as other matters outside the scope of the audit itself, and depth of experience in the governmental industry. This firm is providing services to over 450 governmental entities. The village current auditors, RSM US LLP, has been retained annually to perform the village audit since fiscal year ended April 30, 1976. They helped shepherd the village through the advent of Governmental Accounting Standards Board and most of the pronouncements that have been released since the GASB formation in 1984, which is now 84, numbers 84. The village has periodically solicited proposals for audit services over the past 4 decades. These periodic solicitations, while they did not result in a change in the auditing firm, have often resulted in a reduction in fees. Such is the case with the current RFP solicitation. The proposed fees for the fiscal year 2017 audit are not expected to exceed $52,725 compared to the $71,750 paid for the prior year, and represents a 25% reduction when compared to the prior year. This item was discussed at the Budget and Audit Administration Committee meeting held prior to this meeting and recommended for approval.
This item is for an expenditure. Anybody on the board have any questions about this item? Anybody from the public have any questions or comment? Let the record reflect there were none. Madam Deputy?
Trustee Maher.
Yay.
Trustee Grady.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg.
Yay.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Motion carries. Item number 27, Trustee Maher.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, I'd ask the board to consider for adoption ordinance number 2017-0-017, adopting certain amendments to the Tinley Park Municipal Code 2017 S-031 supplement.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. This ordinance approves the periodic update of the codification that was originally adopted in 1986. This supplement includes all the ordinances adopted by the village board in 2016. After update, the new version of the municipal code will also be available on the village website. This is basically just codifying those things that we've passed during the past year.
Anybody from the board have any questions on this particular item? Anybody from the public have any questions? Mr. Pause.
Does that mean that the public comment will now be codified in? That was one that was adopted last year, right? Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
No other comments? Madam Deputy, please call the roll.
Trustee Maher.
Yay.
Trustee Grady.
Yay.
Trustee Panito.
Yes.
Trustee Vandenberg.
Yes.
Trustee Yonker.
Yay.
Motion carries. Item number 28, comments from board and staff. I'll conclude my comments with basically saying that it's been an honor to serve the Village of Tinley Park. I appreciate the fine efforts that have been done by both past and present board members, and I wish the best to Mayor-elect Vandenberg, Clerk-elect Thiron, who's here with us tonight, Trustee-elect Glotz, who's here tonight, and it's going to be a labor of love, so welcome aboard, and best of luck. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Brian.
I just wanted to thank the residents of the Village of Tinley Park for entrusting me to serve as village trustee for the past 18 years. To echo Mayor Seaman's comments, it's truly been an honor and a privilege to serve this great town, and I wish all the newly elected officials the best of luck in their future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Mr. Mayor? I have a public service announcement first. I'm supposed to read Coffee with a Cop this Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon. Want to chat with Tinley's finest over a steaming cup of joe? If so, the Tinley Park Police Department has just the event for you. Come out and get to know the folks in blue who serve and protect Tinley Park. Coffee with a Cop brings the police officers and the community members that serve together over coffee to discuss issues and learn more about each other. Police will be at 2 Dunkin' Donuts locations in the village, including 7086 West 183rd Street and 7935 West 171st Street. They hope to see you there. And there's a note added to this that Chief Neubauer is buying for anybody that goes in and sits down with a cop.
That's not my copy.
Oh, all right. I also would like to thank the residents of Tinley Park. It's been an honor to sit up here for almost 7 years. I wish the new board the best of luck in the coming years. I hope you continue the fine work that was started many years before I came aboard. But I wish you guys and you gals the best of luck. And if you need anything at all, we'll help.
Thank you, TJ.
Any other comments?
I said a lot in the beginning, but no, I wish you guys all the best. It's been an enjoyment of mine as a child looking up to you. For many of you that don't know, I've known Dave Seaman and Brian Meyer for quite a long time. I went to school with their children, so it really has been a mentorship. So I appreciate that opportunity, and then also for TJ and all the ball games that we used to attend back in the day. And I just look forward to the camaraderie and the neighborhoodness of Tinley Park, and certainly your continued mentorship as we continue to move Tinley Park forward, as TJ mentioned, to the great legacy that has been laid out before us. So thank you very much, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, just briefly. Yeah, I just wanted to add, I know on behalf of myself and our entire firm, Mr. Mayor, Trustee Maher, Trustee Grady, I know we came in at a somewhat volatile time in your village's history, and we want to thank all three of you. You've always treated certainly me as with the utmost respect and in a gentlemanly manner, and it's much appreciated by me and my entire firm. So thank you to all three of you. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
pleasure. Anybody else from the board?
I guess I'll, as well, I can't not. I've lived in this village for years and been on the park board for 20 years, and during that time, it's been a great village to work with. I know people have said, why don't you run for the village? Why? It was so well run for so long. And up until 2 years ago, there was nothing to complain about. It was a great village to point to with great leadership, and that's the people here. And everybody lives here, everybody raised their families here, everybody cares about this town and has put in a lot of time and effort, and I, for one, appreciate it. I wish there weren't those recent bumps in the road that kind of, make kind of that little thing that doesn't look good in otherwise stellar careers. But thank you for your service.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks, man.
Anybody else on the board? Then we'll open it up to the public.
Mayor, and not to repeat too much what I talked about in the reception beforehand, but on behalf of staff, thank you, Mayor, Clerk Ray, Trustee Maher, Grady and Suggs. We really appreciate your support and best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anybody from the public? Rita.
First off, I'd like to thank our outgoing board members for their service and to welcome our incoming board members. And so I'm going to address this question to Mr. Vandenberg, Mr. Yunker, and Mr. Pinito at this point. Every time I go down Harlem Avenue, I get sick. The state property I know belongs to the state, but if it was a homeowner, they would have been fined 100 times over for the weeds. You can't drive along. People coming into our community see nothing but garbage. There's garbage, and I'm talking outside of their property, the easement. Can't we please do something to clean that up? Because that's the first impression so many people get of our community. And it just looks horrible on Harlem and on 183rd. So I'd ask you to please address that.
Appreciate it, Rita.
I think we've got, doesn't the Environmental Commission do their cleanup day pretty shortly?
I'm not sure they go on Harlem, though.
The state in our meeting 2 years ago identified that they cut it 3 times a year.
Yeah, well.
Whether or not that's the case or not. They also identified there to be a dollar amount attached to that was a little exasperated
Hundreds of thousands
is
of
what I'd
dollars,
say.
as I recall.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And if you remember right, you sent letters to the governor's office asking to clean it up. So
we will continue to work on that behalf for you, Rita, and certainly for the village residents. I know that we have we could have a conversation with our senator and representatives to make sure that we continue to get that taken care of.
Sounds like something we could have lobbied for. What? Anyways, real quick, since Councilor Conley didn't have an answer, Trustee Benhausen, do you know how much we were paying Irma?
I would say about $1 million. The risk pool, it's a risk pool that includes a number of municipalities throughout the state.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not so much a premium, but it's a contribution into the pool that is based on average of revenues. And our contribution is about $1 million a year.
Wait, what? Are you serious? $1 million every year, like going back for a lot of years?
Well, right now the contribution is about $1 million a year. It was less in earlier years, but it is right now about $1 million a year. So.
Okay. Wow. Oh, that's interesting. Thank you, Treasurer Benhausen.
That covers all of our liability insurance. It covers automobile coverage. It covers everything.
Oh. So it's not just for litigation. There's other things included.
Fire trucks,
workers' comp,
rolling
okay.
stock.
Oh, that's interesting. All right, thank you. All right, so I went to the workshop or public presentation, Farr and Associates. Now, granted, I just got it, all the stuff that has come out of Springfield regarding Tinley Park Mental Health Center from aforementioned lobbyists. I did not see the word landfill in there. Of a threat of a landfill, or landfill as a consideration, or even as a rumor. Twice now. 2 times, Tinley Park. Mr. Farr has said, we got to get control of this because it could be a landfill. Now, once may have been a slip of the tongue. Twice is a pattern. Theatricality and deception may go far with the uninitiated, but we, sir, Mr. Niemeyer, are initiated. Can you please tell Mr. Farr to stop saying that Illinois is threatening this with the landfill if we don't do anything with the land? Because I think that's basically very deceptive.
Yeah, I mean, I think the point is, the state of Illinois does have control over the land, but
They have control over the land, but under what circumstance would they ever actually put a landfill there?
Well,
It would never happen.
bought it.
I'm sorry?
If somebody purchased, if a refuse hauler purchased the land from the state of Illinois, believe it to be zoned ORI currently, I don't know what the zoning requirements for a landfill would be, but I'd assume it's not too far from that.
So you're saying there's a theoretical possibility that the state of
I
Illinois
think
would
the
sell
way
it
that
to
he-
a refuse?
I would say that he probably annotated that for an analogy purpose. As
I-
the worst possible scenario, right?
Oh, it's quite bad in the fact that I think it's outside the realm of possibility, but I guess if you're saying it is
I
not
don't think
point...
anybody up here would advocate for it, let's put it that way.
Well, I'm fairly sure that's the case. Now, I did see in an email from Mr. Fielder that, he was trying to address the rumor of it becoming a National Guard depot of some kind, and I mean, at least he addressed that one. That one I could see at least a theoretical possibility. Now, my brother who serves in the Guard says that would probably never happen either. But, I would say I would prefer if, considering what we're paying this guy, that he could stop with the theatrics at least.
yeah, I understand. He's just trying to make the point that there could be uses that we don't want, but.
All right.
So, yeah,
In any case, just one in closing, I thought all of the schemes, and that's their term, not mine, were ridiculous. Even though I know they tried to squeeze into the lake to appease me, ain't gonna work. 1,500 units, that's just ridiculous when you can't finish an 8-unit subdivision where the old lion pool is. So, anyways, best of luck, Mayor. Elect Vandenberg.
Thank you, Mr. Paz. Mr. Hawley.
Hello. I just want to say thank you for everyone up here for their service to the Village of Tinley Park. I know that I'll be seeing you guys around town still, especially Mr. Maher on the train. Well, I guess. Huh?
I said, I'll still be going down to work.
Hey, me too. Me too. I guess I got a few questions. Do the new trustees do they get like that badge that Mr. Pinito, Vandenberg, and Yonker got?
Yeah, they got a badge.
I got a badge 2 years ago. It's been in a drawer. I'll pass it along to whoever wants it.
Just asking. I guess my second question is there any type of non-disclosure agreement within the settlement or anything like that for it?
The settlement agreement from tonight?
Yes.
Okay. No.
Okay. And then, I guess my last question is that through every experience that we go through life, whether bad or good, there are lessons that can be learned out of it. And I guess I'm just asking the Board of Trustees and the Mayor, what do you think was the number one lesson that the Tinley Park government has learned from this recent event, if any? If you can't answer or whatever, because the thing that's fine, I was just asking.
They're still pending litigation.
Yeah, if it has to do with
I don't think it's time to, it's related to this, unfortunately.
No, that's fine. I was just asking. Thanks, guys. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Lucas. Ms. Cunningham.
Good evening. I would just like to revisit the whole issue with Odyssey. A couple meetings ago, you said you were going to have a meeting with the village and the group there. Would like to know if there's been any progress and what we can expect going forward.
I was not part
That's
of
a
the
cricket.
meeting.
We met with the homeowners association, but we're going to try to,
Right.
we're waiting on the ownership meeting yet.
The owner has been out of town for several weeks, so we're waiting for him to return so we can meet with him.
Okay, and there was a number of $56,000 collected last year through water bills, is what Mr. Bettenhausen had told us. Do we know what our cost was as compared to what we received in? And, I mean, at this point in time, I haven't even been able to confirm whether or not we got $56,000 in. I have to take my belief that he's not giving me a number that's inaccurate. But, I mean, did we spend $90,000 taking care of that subdivision last year?
No, we did not. the number is substantially less than that. That also allows us to set aside some of those monies for the periodic resurfacing of the roads if that, as part of the agreement. So no, we are not spending more than what we are receiving.
What did we spend last year? Can you tell us that?
I don't have that exact number.
Can you get it for us?
We can
believe there was analysis already done.
It's not an easy number to come by because it's partly personnel, it's partly equipment, it's, we approximate the number, and there's a contractual portion of that as well, but we can come up with an approximation of what it is, but I will not have an exact number.
Are we going to continue going forward with taking care of that subdivision on Tinley Parks?
We're waiting for the ownership meeting to take place and let them get back to the management.
Right now, there's an agreement that's in place, and until we meet with the owner, that's our next step.
Do you know how long he's going to be out of town? I mean, has he given any indication, or is it he's just kind of postponing the inevitable?
I talked to him a few weeks ago. He said he was going to be out of town for a number of weeks. So, yeah, it's on my docket to call him in the next couple of weeks.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Yes, sir.
I live, my name's John Moriarty. I live on 18511 Pine Lake Drive, which is a village street. 300 yards down from me is Pine Trail, and they pay the same taxes as me, which is approximately $40,000 a building, because there's 8 units in each building. And they get no service from Tinley Park other than fire and police. The streets are not taken care of, and you said, Mayor, a couple last meeting or the meeting before, you told me that we could pay through our water bill.
No, I didn't say that. I did not say that. I said that that's what the Odyssey homeowners
You
were
also
doing.
said that I could go back and tell that we could pay for that street through our water bill. Your words.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay, you didn't say it. Well, how could we go about that?
Well, first of all,
you told me the Odyssey pays through the water bill.
That's correct.
Right?
That with an arrangement made by the association of the
Right.
developer
And when I mentioned this
30
street,
years ago.
Right. We have no kids, neither. It's 55 and over, so we have no kids, no schools. So we pay school taxes, we pay the full real estate taxes, which are high, and nothing is done on that street.
It's a privately owned street, and it's up to the.
Well, how can it be privately owned?
Takes care of that street.
Pardon?
The homeowners association is.
We do take care of it, which we have to, we use the drain, the sewers on the street go into the pond. Even them sewers, we have to take care of out of the association funds. I-80 goes into that pond, and we have to take care of that. So all I'm asking is, what benefit do we get for that $40,000, or approximately $5,000 a unit? What service other than the police and fire? We were just looking even to get the street salted, and we can't do that because you call it a private street. But why do they pay so much taxes on a private street? I live on a village street, and they pay the same identical taxes.
Because you, sir, entered into an agreement when you purchased that home. That homeowner's agreement was in place that was very clear as to what, or should have been very clear as to what those responsibilities were, the association versus the village.
It had nothing to do with the builder did not have to pay any school impact tax because it was a 55 and over community. But that's, so there's nothing we can do but pay taxes and get no service.
Well,
there's nothing else you can say.
Well,
we can't even get the street salted. We have to pay everything in there out of the associate for one street.
that is why historically the village has not been very anxious to have private streets in a subdivision. But the private streets usually give...
Well, shouldn't they get something off of their taxes?
Well, do you know where your taxes go? Do you know where that 76% of your taxes are?
Part to Tinley Park, part to Rich Township and the schools.
You're about 10 to 12% Village of Tinley Park. The balance is to the schools and to the township. So that 80% number is...
But there's no kids.
Well, maybe the schools will plow the streets for you.
Well, I think these
I don't
people-
think so, but
Yeah.
I'm just being
Well, I
sarcastic.
just feel that Tinley Park, we live in Tinley Park, and then people don't get the same 300 yards from me are paying the same taxes. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, Board, first of all, to the outgoing members, thank you for your years of service to this town. My name is Bill Burns. I've been up here on a couple of occasions. Those who may not know me, I have been, with regards to the reserve issue, out on the picket line, my wife and I, on many occasions. I'm on my third Buckeye Community sign in my yard, which will stay there until this thing is nailed down completely. I say that to kind of state my credentials as a resident of the town. In my professional life, I am a claim handler for a large insurance company. I handle negotiations on multi-million-dollar claims. First of all, Mr. Paws, $1 million for the insurance for this town is not at all an unreasonable number. Just that's a very realistic number. But in my years, I have dealt with very large claims. Many years ago, I dealt with Irma. I haven't had anything to do with them for a long time. I know nothing more about what has been going on than anybody else here in town. Bottom line, I'm in favor of the settlement for a couple of very good reasons. The last thing you want to do in the business of litigation is put your hands in the control of a jury. Most cases that are filed in the court system, less than 5% actually go to trial. The last thing you want to do is actually turn this matter over to a jury and have them decide your fate, especially if the jury will be drawn from the Federal District in Northern Illinois, which tends to be historically a very liberal jurisdiction. While I believe, based on what I know, this was a case we could win, we should win. If we didn't win it, we'd have a real problem. So it becomes a matter of risk. And for that reason, while I'd like to think, as my own personal pride, I might have been able to finagle a dollar figure lower than the number that was entered into, I don't find it at all outrageous. And the main thing is it's done. We don't have that hanging over our heads anymore in the village. Hopefully we can get a move on with the real estate issues in this town as far as homeowner sales and moving some of these empty properties. We have a lot of things we need to address. We got to get this behind us. I think this is a realistic issue. Again, could we have won it? Yes. If we'd lost it, it would have been tied up probably, no matter who won, in appeals for a couple more years. The issues that continue to hang over our heads now, that'll be resolved by this, would continue holding over our heads for at least 2 more years in an appellate process, and that would be after trial. So I'm in favor of this. I know there's a lot of discussion in social media and around town. We should have fought the bums. We need to win this one. In this society, we take the situations we're handed. You know, none of us here wanted this situation. We're well past the stage of, you know, we can't do anything about it except make the best resolution we can. So for those who were upset by this, from my perspective, I think it was the right thing to do. I congratulate the people who negotiated the settlement. And hopefully we can get, like I said, the real estate market, the residential market turned around in this town and move ahead. I know a number of realtors have been reluctant to bring people into this town. mostly for that reason, and hopefully that'll be gone. And people who were against this, keep in mind, anybody checking on Buckeye Community in the future is going to very easily find all of this online somewhere. They did not come out of this smelling like a rose. They're going to have some problems from a public relations angle in the future. So overall, I applaud the resolution, and I would love to have seen it for less, but it could have gone for a lot more. So congratulations, everybody involved.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. Appreciate it. Anybody else care to comment? Mr. Stuckley?
Mr. Mayor, I think it's most fitting your final meeting that you got to honor the youth at Tinley Park once again. I've been to more than a few meetings, and you have this glow about you. Thank you. Thank you. You really enjoy honoring the youth. You smell what? I'm sorry. What did you say? I have the mic. You can take it next time, okay? When I'm done. Can you honor my time, please? So anyway, I was fortunate enough to coach the Tinley Park Bulldogs for over 26 years, make that. And it's a Class A organization. It's well known throughout the state. The whole Bulldog organization, football also. I'd like to thank the outgoing trustees for their commitment to our town. Clerk Ray, whenever I think about Tinley Park, I think about Clerk Ray, and I'm sorry he's not here. And to you, Mayor Seaman, I have 8 simple words. Thank you for your commitment to our town. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate the comments. It's very kind of you. Anybody else care to comment? If not, let the record reflect that we're none. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Who's the second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
School's out. Thanks, guys.